The guys is here. Now, I wanted to pop in and touch on this here topic of looks compatibility. And I got another video, I think, called Looks Compatibility. So you can type that in and type in Tony Gaskins, and you'll probably hear the same thing because the principles that I teach and live by don't really change, but sometimes there are nuances based on just the evolving society, the world we live in. And this has been brought to the forefront by the reviews I've been doing from the Pop the Balloon show. And a lot of people get in their feelings when I'm describing looks compatibility. But having been a matchmaker for a decade and a half and also being a relationship coach and being able to talk to tens of thousands of people and just see that feedback, it really opened my eyes. And that's how I developed my concepts around looks compatibility, because I was able every single day to see what people desire. And so after a while, you're able to kind of start to put together a chart, and you can see like, okay, this a woman this height, like this height, this color, or this race likes this. And so, and it's so many different variations. So you got to think about it. If I talk to a woman that's 5 foot tall, well, I've talked to women that are 5 foot tall and they are heavy set, some 5 foot tall and they're petite, some that's 5 foot tall and white, and some that's 5 foot tall and black, some that's 5 foot tall and Mexican. So now you able to compare what each one of them said they want in a man. And if you know a Mexican man, if you know multiple Mexican men, most of them, you rarely see a Mexican man over the height of like 5'6". If you see a Mexican man over the height of 5'6", then it's seen as like there's something. You go into his lineage, his genes. Sometimes you may see something else in there that comes like, I don't, Irish or something, that was some type of mix in there. So a woman who is 5 foot tall and Mexican, she doesn't say she wants a man 6 foot taller or more, because she's used to being around Mexican men who are 5'6" and under. And but when you meet a black woman and a white woman, there's far more men in their races that are taller. So they have what they may consider an abundance in their mind, even though the average man in the country is like 5'9". You'll hear a lot of black women say they want a man 6 foot. And also what we don't realize is we don't know, feet in inches like that. So it's one of those things as well, to where a woman may say she wants a man 6 foot, but then she meets a man 5'10", and she doesn't know the difference because it's just 2 inches. And but she knows based on her eye level. And so, and then what a man tells her. So if she met a man and he was 5'10", she said, "How tall are you?" He said 6 foot. So now that becomes her. Nobody pulls out a tape measure. And so that's how these things are formed. So what I first want you to realize is none of this is against you. When it comes to looks compatibility, it has nothing to do with you. It's not that you're ugly. It's not that you're attractive. All it has to do with is the media. We are programmed. So what determines anything is what we're told. And until you come into your own way of thinking and you start to think and believe, or you care enough to break the mold, then you go with what you're told. So it's just like how we place value. You place more value on someone with a college degree than someone without a college degree until you change your way of thinking. And as I'm explaining this, it does no good to sound off in the comments about how you never place more value on someone with a degree than someone without a degree, because it doesn't mean anything. You are an exception to the rule. We're not talking about exceptions to the rule. We're talking about the rule, the majority. And that's what you have to understand, is that when teachers are speaking, we're speaking about the majority. We're speaking in generalities because we're talking to the masses. We understand that there are caveats and nuances. And there are differences across the board. We understand that. Give me 1 second real quick here. I forgot. I was supposed to take a picture of my wife. And we forget that. And so what you have to realize and understand, it's not just about, on one side is what we're shown and what we're told is beautiful and what looks good to us. And then on the other side, it's how we view ourselves. But how we view ourselves is typically determined by what the world says is beautiful or not. So I heard that there's parts of the world or certain places in Africa where the thicker a woman is, like the bigger a woman is, the more beautiful she is, or like the more it means she has opulence, and that it's admired, it's rewarded. And that's not the case in America. So how can two sets of living, breathing, how can two living, breathing sets of humans have two different standards of beauty? It's all about what you're told, what you believe, what you're shown. So that's what you have to realize and understand. That when you take and you look and you say, oh, this person is handsome, you then have to ask yourself, why are they handsome? So that's what you have to understand. It's like you believe this person is handsome or this person is beautiful based on what you have seen in movies and magazines, in the television. How you know that you have your own way of thinking is when you take and you have a different type. So when you say, hey, I like this type of look, but in the media, that type of look isn't praised. And so let's go to let me see if I can share the screen. Oh, you know what? I'm not sure if it'll. I can't even see what I'm looking at when I go here. Okay, maybe this. So we look at this famous actors, and so it's bringing up men because I put actors, and so we'll throw the woman in there. And so this is what we take and we see. So Denzel Washington. Look at a little bit more bigger images. This gentleman here, I don't know his name. Here go Tyrese. So this is what y'all would call tall, dark, and handsome, but Tyrese not that tall. And I don't know how tall he is. He may be 5'10" to 6 foot, but I met him in person, so I know I don't recall him being that tall. And this gentleman here. Now think about it. Certain times you'll see this man in public. He could get, I don't know if he passed away, God rest his soul if he did, he get any woman he wants as a millionaire. But this guy, without money, without fame, without movies, this face doesn't get a lot of attention. Why? Cheeky. You're cheeky. This face here, more chiseled, so therefore seems more athletic, like a football player, basketball player, track athlete. This guy here, a lot of women don't like bald heads. It just seems like a bald head for some women represents you falling off, you losing your hair, you can't grow hair. So we hear women on Pop the Balloon say they don't like bald heads. And then a lot of women don't like super muscle bound men. This guy, he's very muscle bound guy. You know, Will Smith, I don't really hear much about his take, but in real life, now women saying they don't like a lot of light skin. And then he got a set of ears on him. So all of this stuff is just based on how we perceive people. And we'll look at famous Hollywood couples. So we got Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson. Tom Hanks, Rita Wilson. Let's do the black couples because I don't really fully understand white folks. I really don't know how they look. This thing messing up. Oh, you know what? A lot of times these pictures don't be coming up right. What I did, clicked on their picture, right? That's all I did, click on their picture. Will and Jada. Now, Jada, as for a woman, symmetrical face, petite, light skin. So dark skinned men and white men like light skin. Where does that come from? Comes from the movies. What also did light skin represent in slavery? Light skin represented a slave master or the slave master's son sleeping with a slave, and then their baby was light skinned. So now the light skinned person got more privilege because he or she was half white. So that person, once a baby comes into it, you could be as racist as you want to be, but when a baby comes into it, you're going to have some love for that child. And so you're going to make sure your child, as a white person, you're going to make sure your half white child gets more than a 100% black child. So when we take it all the way back to slavery. So therefore, light skin became more desirable. And then when white people had to give a chance in corporate and in real positions to black people, they went with lighter skinned black people. So that's why when we see something like ESPN female host, Lisa Salters, she's an older woman. We're gonna click through these women. These the female hosts. These the female hosts. And we're gonna go to the women of color. We're gonna do the women of color. So we got Lisa Salters, OG. We got Elle Duncan. And just pay attention to skin tone. Pay attention to skin tone. We got Malika Andrews. And that's it. It's more, but this Google search didn't bring up all of them. Molly Querum. So if you pay attention to this, these women, they even Lisa just a little more like she's not trying to be all you know, super duper feminine. She just kind of got a different little haircut, different little style on her, which is still feminine, but she's not trying to do the curls or, you know, a bunch, you know, too much makeup or whatever. But when you look at these women, if you notice, they pretty much similar type of look and complexion. Now, another thing about these women, now she brown skin, she good brown skin, is very well spoken, private school, and so now on TV we done had Oprah, we done had Wendy, we done had Tyra Banks. You get different types. Now, when you take Oprah and you look at Oprah, but you compare her to the models and to the actresses, she has a different look, she has a different body type. So when you look into your city, when you look in your community, and a woman who is built like Oprah and looks like Oprah, and you look at her relationship, and let's go to the projects, and you find the Oprah of the projects, and you look at her relationship, what does she typically have? She typically has a man who is living off of her. He could be a criminal, ex-criminal, doesn't work, smoke weed, play video games, and he's living off of her. And the reason being is because her image in the media is Oprah. Her image in the media may be, what's the lady name? Octavia. Octavia looked like she could be Oprah's sister. So a lot of times when we see women who look like this, and we see the roles that they played in movies, they was the auntie, they was the grandma, they was the strong black woman, they were the help. And so that affects the way men see this type of woman. Now, if we remove all biases, we remove everything, and we just look at Octavia, she's beautiful. When we really just look at Octavia, she's beautiful. When you look at this hair do, you need to be trying to find out who did this head of hair. I don't care how much, I don't care if it's real, fake, whatever it is, whoever did her hair, you need to get in that person's chair. Let's a gay man, get your woman to do your hair. Y'all stop letting men do your hair. Get your woman to do your hair. You need to get in that chair. Get that hairdo. Look at the way this face made. The way this makeup put on. Blah, 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 blah. You need to learn how to do your makeup like that. So when we just look at her, she beautiful. But when you put her into societal constructs, they're gonna take Octavia, and then they'll put her, they might put her with, I think both of them probably was, they might put her with Viola. So when they did the movie about The Help, Viola was in The Help. I think Octavia was in The Help. When they did the movie about The Help, they used Viola, they used Octavia. Those were the two leads. Then when they did this other, you know, Black Struggle movie, you know, not Black Struggle, but, you know, back in the day. Now then when they did this right here, Woman King. So this is what I mean right here. I would always tell women with a low cut or something like that, that it represents strength. Why? Why doesn't this Woman King have long, flowing, voluminous hair? It's not conducive to war. It's not conducive to battle to be running with this flowing hair. So when you see a woman with a low hairstyle, you automatically associate her with strength. When you see a woman with a long flowing hairstyle, let's say, trying to think of popular names, but I don't know what their face look like, but I'm trying to think of names. So, okay, this is how she look. not Hispanic, not why doesn't Viola have this hairstyle in The Woman King? You see what I mean? So when a man takes these two women, this woman right here can go to war. This woman can go to war, and she could be just as tough as the other woman. So Eva Mendes can go to war and be just as tough as Viola Davis. What would Eva Mendes have to do? She would have to do like a bun, do a ponytail, wrap it up, or she would have to get braids. She would have to do something to hold that hair down and to hold that hair together if you finna put it up under a helmet and you finna go to war. But she could be just as vicious, just as vicious. But then because this hair looks more relaxed, more like you don't have anything hard to do, like you got a soft life. What does a man want to do with a woman who looks like this? He wants to make her a stay-at-home mom. He wants to put her up. He want to lay it in the shade. With a woman who has the hairdo of Viola Davis, what does he want to do? He want to beat on her. He want to mistreat her, or he want to use her, or he want to send her to work. He want her to be the CEO of Google. She got to have a hard life because, and I'm talking about The Woman King now, that hair, not Viola Davis in its entirety. And so listen to me now, but listen to me and get out your feelings. You got to get out your feelings and get out of your insecurities and your trauma, and you've been hurt, you've been picked on, you've been talked about, and you beautiful. Like, we all know that you beautiful. Everybody beautiful in the sight of the Lord. Like, we all know that, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about perception. We're talking about societal constructs. We're talking about the imagery and the messaging that we receive in the world. So because of that, because I study this, I take and I look, like, you take this guy right here, and let's take a picture from his acting role. Now, there's women who, just for the sake of it, will say he's very handsome. They'll say they love his skin tone. They love his beard. They love his hair. But picture this guy in your neighborhood. What does his wife look like? What does his wife look like? So in life, that was an Instagram. In life, what does his wife look like? Typically, when I see this type of man, a lot of times his look is not praised by Black women. He may not be with a Black woman who looks like this. He a lot of times is with a white woman who may look like a different version or a younger version of this. And it'll be like an oddball relationship. You're like, why is this white woman with this Black guy? And the reason is because when you take her face and then you put her up against her, white guys may be more attracted to this look. And I'm just throwing out an example that might not be exactly true. I don't know what they like. Or they may even be more attracted to this look than this look, or the younger version of this look. And then you'll see, let's just use this look right here. 77 years old. This is her look. You'll see this woman, and then you'll see her with a guy that look like this. And you'll be like, what's going on? How did that happen? Well, this woman, full of money, absolutely loaded with money. And so this younger Black guy or Hispanic guy or white guy gets with her because she's full of money. And then some women will actually look and be like, how did she get a husband? What makes her better than me? Why is she better than me? How did she get a husband? Now, a lot of times, let's take this look right here. When you see this look, This look may be with this look. Why? He get tired of seeing his skin tone, brown skin. He wants something a little lighter. She got tired of seeing her skin tone. She think dark skin is strong, tall, dark, handsome. He athletic built. She former track star or cheerleader, what have you. And then boom, they hit it off. And so when you think about looks compatibility, now you take this look right here. Now, the look that we just showed you from this person, Ty Davis, is different than this look right here from Adepero Oduye. So now, what is the difference? The difference, one would assume that she has less of a mix, like more of African roots, and that she could potentially have African mixed with European or African mixed with Asian. Does not have to be the case. Remember, we all know that that does not have to be the case, but we're talking about perception. Now, perception of this hairstyle is like Wakanda. Strong. You love yourself. You embrace your hair. You embrace your culture. You embrace who you are. Same with this hairstyle. Natural hairstyle. Now, why is this sister, why is her pictures natural hair? Her pictures are natural hair. When you look at the woman who looks like she could have more, you know, she wears a different hairstyle. Could be her hair, could have some weave in there. This could be most likely extension, some type of very high quality weave that looks good. What's the difference between their hair choice? If someone is rooted in their culture, in their identity and who they are, and they have been told, you are beautiful, you are strong, you are worthy, you are capable, then that person falls in love with everything about them, and they don't feel the need to dye their hair. They don't feel the need to straighten their hair. They don't feel the need to use artificial hair. They feel beautiful. They feel loved. They feel affirmed. They feel confident. So now look, she is an American actress, director, singer, and writer. She is known for Pariah, 12 Years a Slave, The Big Short, and Widows. Why did they put her in 12 Years a Slave? Because it looks like she is less mixed. She could have some Asian in her. She could have some European in her. But if that's the case, those genes are more so less dominant or recessive or whatever you call it, not recessive. They're not dominant genes. So she looks like the prototype, the archetype of certain faces we see right in Africa, like straight from Africa. And a lot of there's a lot of different looks in Africa when you actually go. But when you see a group of black people in Africa, most of them who were born and raised there, no ties to any other continent, most of them, they have a similar look. And then you will see a small subset of them that they look like a black American. When I went to South Africa, all of the men, in my opinion, had the same look for the most part. And then I would see like a light-skinned guy, but like one or two. Majority of them were the same skin tone. They had the same hair grade, the same facial hair, very similar, just different body types. Some a little more husky, some a little more slim. For the women, majority of them look very similar. Different facial features, but I didn't see a single, when I was in Johannesburg, I didn't meet a light-skinned black woman. I know that there's people Tony, we got a lot of light skin. Yeah, I'm telling you, when I was there, I didn't meet a single light-skinned black woman. So that is how this looks compatibility stuff is formed. Now, one thing that I did notice, even though being a married man, I'm not Ray Charles or Stevie Wonder, I noticed that I also did not meet like a lot of like, I didn't meet a lot of like overweight black women. Like when I went Johannesburg, it was the craziest thing that I've seen. I was 29 years old. It was the craziest thing that I had seen. Now, yes, there's all different type of body types. I'm just talking about, but the through line was booty. Yes, there were some sprinkled in there with no butt, but the through line was booty. The other through line was a waist this big. What the Kim Kardashians went to try to get, but they overdid it. And they ain't necessarily overdo it. Like there are some women in Africa that's really shaped like that, with no waist and a big booty. It was mind-boggling. It was mind-boggling. I literally, at 29 years old, wanted to tell every black man in America, you done been bamboozled. Because yes, black American women, some of them have booty, but I've never seen shapes like I saw in Johannesburg in my life. I was 29 years old. I had been married since 23. Listen to me. When I tell you that's the most I've done been tempted to go through a divorce. When I tell you I almost pulled the Keon Henderson and Torrey Roberts, man, look here. Because my wife she Indian Jamaican and black Jamaican. So she's not built like a woman out of Africa. You hear me? And for me, I was struggling. I was struggling. It was hard. It was hard. Because I had never seen so many women with no stomach, no waist, and what would be described as the perfect butt, the perfect shape. But the difference was they eat clean. They eat a lot cleaner than Americans. So their natural genetics are able to set and rest. Now, yes, there are women of all shapes and sizes. I'm not saying it's not. And it might be the change now from that was 2013 when I went over there. It could be very more Americanized. I don't know. And but I say that to say, but all of the women were like this complexion. There was one woman that I met who looked like this. She looked like this. She had this look. She had almost this exact shape. So this shape is an African shape. She looked like this, like a little lighter, a little features a little different, cheekbones or whatever, a little different, nose a little different. And guess what? She was the girlfriend of the multi-millionaire who sponsored my event. And the multi-millionaire who sponsored my event looked more like this. He looked like a rougher version of this. Rougher, like heavier, baggier cheeks, scruffier beard. He looked like a rougher version of this. So he looked like a rougher version of this, but instead of choosing a look that was like more African, like felt more authentic, he went with the look that seemed like it had some type of other continent sprinkled in there. And why? I don't know. But they didn't work out. They didn't end up working out. And so you see all these different faces we clicking through where you can see shades of beauty. And when you look at somebody, you can see everybody has their own type of beauty. And but when you looking at people, you really remember this the hairstyle of Woman King. So we automatically associate Black women with shorter hairstyles with strength or trauma, either hair trauma or relationship trauma, and they did the big chop, or strength. We never give this look the benefit of the doubt. And when I say never, again, I'm not speaking in totality and all across the board. We understand this is generality, this is the majority. But when you see this look, are you going to look and say, she looks like a soft life, stay at home mom to a very rich man? Are you going to say that? If you're being ignorant for the comments and you like to argue, you're going to say that. But if you being real based on our society and what it has shown us, but the thing about it is, why can't she have a soft life? And this is where we have to love ourselves. Now, see that look that she had, this here, she went and did the weave to give herself a different look. So that could have been a different Looking Glass Theater Company. So with Looking Glass Theater Company, we said, no, we need this look right here. We need this look right here, sister. She's an actress known for Widows, St. Francis, and I Love D. Sister, what the hell you doing? Sister, what kind of movie you was in? Sister, what we got going on, nah? Why they tried you like that, nah? Look here, Soul Survivor, St. Francis. I haven't watched the movie Widows. I'm gonna watch it though, but I don't know the sister, but she coming up in the Google search. You know, I don't watch all the movies. And so this is what I'm saying is, if you want to be successful, if you are single and you want to be in a relationship faster, you're going to have to start to find the beauty in the underrepresented, the underpromoted, and the underpraised. You're going to have to break free from stereotypes. What does a low blonde hairdo say to you? What does that say to you? And whatever it says to you, where do you get that assessment from? How did you come up with that? Now, if it is because you've met several women with this hairdo and they all are snappy, they all are rude until you break down their wall, you get past their guard. They all smart aleck, smart out the mouth, snappy, rude, disrespectful. But if you can get past that, and that's their guard. That's their guard to protect themselves. So now this sister, I don't know if this is a chosen hairdo or if it's from alopecia. I have a colleague now who she has alopecia, and so she decided to wear her hair like this. I don't know if what's that from, but just taking, and now I don't understand why if is these like different age ranges, if we looking, or this the same person, like it's the same person, but I don't understand how she looked so young here and so much older here, unless did she age? Is that far apart in years? But you look at her features. This is what they put on the runway. They like this look for the runway. The big fashion houses, they like that look, that type of neck, this type of cheekbones. Now you take here, it look a little softer here. I don't know if this is the same person, but look a little softer. Yeah, the same person, same name, Cynthia. Look a little softer. Now, remove your preconceived notions as a man. Remove your preconceived, or even as a woman. Not saying as a woman you're attracted to a woman. Remove your preconceived notions of a low cut blonde hairdo, and then just look at her face. There's nothing wrong with her face. Could be seen as utter perfection. But if you are trapped and by society, you may say, I don't like this skin tone. I don't like this type of nose. I don't like this hairstyle. And so you will discredit the person. You will discredit the person, and you won't get past whatever. It could be a wall up. It could be guards. She could have been hurt. She could have been, violated as a young age in multiple different ways. And she could have created this persona and created this look to look intimidating, to look like, do not bother me. Because when she rested in her feminine, she was violated. And so she could take and create this look that says, I will slit your throat in your sleep if you ever think about trying me again. And so she could go from resting in the feminine to intimidating. Get this septum piercing. Get the multiple earring piercing. I mean, she got it here, but that septum sent a total, if it's called a septum, y'all forgive me if it's not, sent a total different message. This right here, these earrings, the green eyeshadow, this says I make music. This says I'm one of the dopest R&B and soul artists to ever live. It's given artsy, eclectic. So you see how a different look says different things. This say I'm dope, I'm cool, like I'm hip, I know fashion, I love me, I'ma do me, I'ma march, I'ma build my own band, and then I'ma march to my own beat. You're not telling me what to do, I'm not conforming, I'm doing me. This right here says, I don't care what you think about me. I know that if we line up, if we click on 10 different women pictures, I'm going to be the only one with this hairstyle. I don't care what you think about me. I love me. And I don't care about your assumptions. If you think this is alopecia, if you think I'm battling cancer, if you think I just did a big chop, if you think that I'm just seeking attention, I don't care. This is me. I love me. And now, if any of these people have passed away, God bless their soul. Y'all forgive me. I don't keep up with the people, so I don't know. And so I say that to say this is how looks compatibility is shaped and formed, to where we will take and we'll look and we will decide based on the images we've seen the most. That's how we determine what is attractive. But when we really look within, there's beauty in everybody. So this lady right here, if we look at her, because she doesn't look like this lady, we may discredit her and say, oh, she's not as attractive. But when you really look into her eyes, when you really look into the windows of her soul, you can see that she is very, very loving, that she loves to a fault, that she will put up with so much disrespect and so much abuse until she won't. Everybody got a breaking point. But when she love you, she love you. But you got to take and look into the windows of her soul, and you got to come out of just looking at her face. Now, I'm going to wrap on up here, but I wanted to show you it's not about my opinion and what I think and how I read people. It's about you and how you read people. So with every person, you looking at me right now, in your head, you have a certain thought about me. Then you got to get to the root of it. And so I had I have been called ugly by a lady in the comments, and she called me ugly because really I could tell her angle was she thought I was too high on myself. She thought I was arrogant. And that's because she is insecure. So when you're insecure, you confuse confidence for arrogance. And that's why I wrote the quote, don't let my confidence offend your insecurity. Deion Sanders made it famous. He got in his bio as his quote. He blew it up. But that right there that's real. So if we look and we think somebody is arrogant, what we want to do? We want to chop them down to size. But why does that offend us if they're arrogant? Arrogance only offends insecurity. If you are confident, arrogance makes you laugh. When you see someone who is arrogant, you know that they're actually insecure, that they're actually weak and not confident. So when you see somebody arrogant, it's funny to you because you know arrogance comes from insecurity. When you see someone who is confident, it's inspiring to you because you know confidence comes from humility, strength. So when I see arrogance, I see Donald Trump and I see Kanye West. When I break them down to size, I see men who were never praised by women and were hurt by women, lied to, deceived, mistreated. So you grow up, you get money, now you become arrogant. Now you become rude, condescending, nasty. You can have a nice side to you, sweet side to you, but it's only certain people you let in. And you let them in based on your biases, your prejudices, your biases. That's how you determine who you're going to be nice to. So as a man reading men, arrogance is Kanye West, Donald Trump. Now, confidence is Steph Curry, Patrick Mahomes. Ironically, insecurity could be like, or not insecurity, could be humility, be like a Russell Wilson. But you got to look at where you are in yourself. So because I know that I help everybody and that I allow so many people to benefit from me and I ask them for nothing in return. Like my office got, 6 different rooms in it and I let people come here and they work here and they'll come and they'll work. And on those days, they may not offer to buy lunch. Sometimes some people do. Most people don't. They don't offer to buy lunch. They don't offer to buy coffee. They don't offer to, hey, let me give $100. Let me donate $100 to the rent or whatever. They don't do that. But I don't get too up in arms about it because I feel abundant. I feel abundantly blessed. I feel that God has blessed me on another level. So I tell myself, hey, I'm blessed. Like I can't be mad about it. Like I'm blessed and highly favored. Like, so I can't get upset. And so that right there, because I know that I'm humble, because I know me, because I know that I'm humble, but I know that I'm confident. And I know sometimes you got to sign your own contract. You got to sing your own praise, not literally, but you have to let people know who you are sometimes, because people believe what they see, they believe what they hear, because perception is reality. So sometimes people will misperceive and you gotta have them stand corrected. And so because I know that if someone is insecure and they don't feel strongly about themselves, they're going to be offended and say, oh, you on a high horse, you feel too strongly about yourself. But the truth is, they need to feel more strongly about themselves. So it doesn't matter what someone says. Like Deion Sanders, his persona, it's funny to me. Very arrogant. Nice to who he want to be nice to. Mean and snappy with who he want to be mean and snappy with. But people call him very arrogant. Me, I could read a person. I could read where he's from before sports. If you are a dark-skinned man with ears, y'all forgive me. Coughing all in the mic. If you, hey, y'all forgive me now. Went to swallowing too hard. Had to hit me a little bit of that water. If you're a dark-skinned man with ears, that's what I do. So I noticed some of these men have a set of ears on them. We all got a set of ears on us. I got a little pointed ear like an elf. So you got to go back to the root. You remove the money. You remove the fame. You remove the athletics. And you're like, oh, okay. All right. So then it's like this right here. Then you're able to see a person of how they were shaped. You know, how they were groomed, how they were reared. Then it helps you understand better their disposition or their position. And so you're able to look at it. And if you know who you are, then you're able to be confident. You're able to not be offended. So no matter how arrogant somebody is, it doesn't offend me. It makes me laugh. Like, I love listening to Donald Trump talk. And when somebody go to getting on him, somebody go to trying him and trying to trip him up in his words, and the way he respond, the way he answered, that thing is hilarious to me. He is comedy to me. Like, it don't offend me at all. It just, my mouth might drop wide open, but it is funny to me. Same with Kanye West. But for Kanye, I feel sorry for him because sometimes but he dealing with a lot of drug issues and stuff too. They said, and put that out there about whatever he doing, nitrous oxide or something he doing. But he deal with a lot of stuff, and I feel terrible for him. I feel absolutely terrible for him. But he'll say the stuff he say, it just make me laugh. Like, wow. And he always talking about how much of a genius he is. He's such a genius, such a genius. And guess what? He is a genius. We ain't arguing with him, but it's not like his designs of his clothes and all of this stuff is like super complex. He understands the power of simplicity. So he makes the simplest stuff versus the most complex stuff. It's just overly simplified with just his type of whatever inspiration, but he could see the whole world. So a lot of this stuff be stolen from different parts of the world that we never get to visit. Somebody showed like a dump truck. It was like a dump truck on wheels. It was like a garbage can on wheels from India from like forever ago. And it looked just like Elon Musk Tesla Cybertruck. Looked just like the Cybertruck. And it's like, this thing was in India. Did the designer of the Cybertruck happen to see that? Or went to like Googling like dump truck on wheels or whatever, tank on wheels, and then that came up and then they took and stole that design? Or that who the mind that come up with that thing in India is similar to the mind that came up with the Cybertruck. Somebody pulled it up and showed it. I seen it online. So it just go to show you. So how genius are you? because a lot of stuff be inspired. But if you know who you are, nobody's thoughts and opinions should offend you. So what the lady did, the lady came in the comments, she told me, I'm not attractive. Derek Jackson is attractive. She said, that's a fine man. She was talking about Derek Jackson. She said, that's a fine man. But I looked at her. When I looked at her, she looks the opposite of my wife. So opposite skin tone, opposite facial features. She looked the opposite. So her perception in the world, and basically the type of men that she was used to being attracted to her, the gentleman she said is fine, in her mind would be the creme de la creme of that skin tone, that height, that body type, that build. Whereas for me, I could see her beauty, but I know how at my school, how her look was treated. Her look was treated like the tough girl, the fighter, the one who got to go home and go to war because the neighbor is touching her, the uncles, the people is violating her. And so she has to become aggressive, like tough. She got to put on a shell. And her look is more authentic and original from Africa. And it's not, you don't see a mixture of Asian or European or Native American. Y'all forgive me. See, I'm talking, I ain't had my water today. So you don't see the mixture. So because majority of black people in the South don't majority, not everybody, don't love themselves. If you can't see a mixture, then you don't gravitate towards that person. So we grew up in self-hate. Now, my mom is lighter than my wife. And I only met my grandma, and my grandma is darker than me, maybe a shade or two darker than me. I never seen my mom's dad, nor do I know if the little piece of a picture that I saw of him is her actual dad. I don't know, because my grandma had like 4 different husbands, and you know, she'll leave a man in a heartbeat, and she wasn't afraid to go and get it in and have kids. So I don't really know, but my mom is very light skinned. I know I come out of her now. I know that's my real mama, but she very light skinned. My daddy is my color, and me and my sister are my color. So we took more of his genes. Now I got my mama teeth, my mama hands, my mama feet, my mama lips. I got all that from my mama. My sister took more of my dad. She had my dad hair, and my dad had like real long, thick, like Mufasa mane hair, but just, you know, jet black man hair. He had big, thick, long fro. My sister hair come down to her butt. And so that wasn't common growing up. So it was an assumption that somewhere we had some type of mix, some kind of way. And then I had hazel eyes, or they'll call them gray eyes. And then my dad had hazel eyes, but they got darker over the years. He said, my mama said his eyes used to be lighter than mine. I don't know how your eyes get darker, your pupils get darker over the years. But my dad's brother had hazel eyes. My first cousin had hazel eyes, and we was like the only ones. But it was a rare thing. Like it wasn't a lot of black men with hazel eyes. So it made people think like, oh, yeah, you might got some type of white in you, or Native American or whatever. Our last name is French. Gascon, come from Gascon. Gaskins come from Gascon. So that, and then my sister having very long hair, You see what I mean? So all of this stuff, it starts to take, and all of the black boys who you couldn't see other continents in them, you only could see Africa, and you couldn't see Asia, you couldn't see Europe. They really took a liking to my sister because, and I remember my ex-girlfriend, when I brought her home, she was white, black, and Indian. And so when she put her hair in a ponytail, it had deep body waves, like real deep body waves. And when I brought her home, I thought she was me. Nah, I'll be honest with you. Me personally, I wasn't that attracted to her. It just, she was the only black girl at my college in Buckhannon, West Virginia. She was the only black girl that I was even halfway attracted to. But when I brought her home, my sister boyfriend friends was in love with her. They was enamored by her. And it was because where we lived, there was no black women that had a mix other than black and white, but there wasn't many of those. But we hadn't seen a black woman who was black, white, Indian. Her skin tone was my skin tone. She had real thick, like full lips, like what the women paying for today. She had nose like mine, and then just, the wavy hair. And then just kind of, her eye was a little, had a little slant to it, different little feature. But my sister was telling me, she was like, yeah, such was saying, your girlfriend is so beautiful, so beautiful. I was like, really? I was like, oh, okay. Well, thanks for telling me. I really had not picked up on that. And that's because I was attracted to what I was attracted to. I wasn't used to that look. So when you really do a deep dive and you start to analyze your history, your biography, your insecurities, your programming, your family, your environment, your surroundings, that's what makes up your looks compatibility scale. That's how you determine. And a lot of times we are attracted to who is attracted to us. So I will see certain women that are not deemed attractive societally, and they will say this certain type of man is attractive, but that type of man is not deemed attractive societally. So then that helps me understand she thinks this type of man is more attractive than this type of man because this is the type of man, this is the only type of man who has given her attention in her life. So she has learned to go where she is celebrated, not where she is tolerated. And because the guys who look like this hurt her, bullied her, talked down to her, made fun of her, they literally, although may be seen as more attractive in society, are but ugly to her because she is offended by their presence. So there was women throughout my life that would say, you look like a player. And I want you to break that down, and I want you to go deep on that and just say, like, why would a woman say I look like a player? Like, how can I look like a player? So translation, what she's saying is you look different than some of the other guys that's at our school. And because you look different, meaning you got a different color eye, or you got a different nose or a different lip or whatever it may be, because you look different, or you come from a 2-parent household, you live in a house, you're not in an apartment, you pulling up in a Lexus, so you look different. And that was part of my story later on in my childhood. And so, but we don't know the association in someone's mind. But when they say you look like a player, but guess what? I was a player. It was a lot of girls that liked me and that were sending me notes and asking me to be their boyfriend. And every girl that I met, I was able to sleep with her on the first day that I met her. And so it just made me just kind of like not respect women and see women different, because it was like, man, nobody really loves themselves. And so it, in turn, I didn't love myself. And I'm like, oh, I guess nobody supposed to love themselves. I guess you just meet somebody and y'all can just bump and grind. And so that assumption was true, that I was a player, that I looked like a player. And that was formed, that stereotype was formed because of experiences, her experiences. Those women who said that, it was their experience, that if a guy had a certain type of look or whatever, or had one of these few archetypes or looks, that those guys were able to get multiple women. But then these guys over here that got this type of look, whatever that look may be, girls don't like them. They got to really get to know a woman and just really build to be liked. So they're not players. That look right there, you're not a player. This look right here, you're a player. This look, you're a player. This look, you're not a player. And it's just all based off experience. It's all based off of societal study. It's all based off of patterns, programming. And that's what you have to understand. So when you start to do your own research and you start to dig a little deeper, that's how you'll realize how I can tell you on the Pop the Balloon who the person is attracted to and who they're gonna pick. And it's because I'm just studying society and looks compatibility. And so I can look at this man and I could say, he's unattractive. He is considered unattractive. His height, his nose, his skin complexion, his whatever is considered unattractive. So this woman here is considered unattractive. They would be a great fit because the world treats them the same and the world sees them the same. But as humans, we want approval. So because he is seeking approval, he wants what the guys who look different than him have been able to get his whole life. So he wants her instead of wanting her. He's looking down on her the same way the world looks down on her, and he's pedestalizing her the same way the world pedestalizes her because of her nose or her lips or her cheekbones or her complexion or her hair or her teeth. She's been pedestalized. She's been praised. She's been desired. She is associated with this type of actress or this type of model. He's going to want her because that will make the ugly duckling, and I'm using the term from the story, not I didn't make the term up, feel like the beautiful swan. And that's how looks compatibility works. But if this man has broken free from societal norms, he's broken free from the constructs and the programming, and he's able to see himself the way God sees him, and then his lenses change so he can see women the way God sees them. Now he can choose a woman based on her character, based on her personality, and not based on societal constructs and media programming. So, hey, that's the lesson on that for now. I'm not going back and forth with you. Everybody has their opinion. You got a right to your opinion. I do not care to hear it because this is my channel. So if your toes got stepped on, put your Band-Aid, get you a channel, and share your opinion. You keep my name out your mouth because I ain't got your name in my mouth. If your name in my mouth, then you're welcome to say my name. But if you call me and I come, please know I'm coming. So, hey, this Tony Gaskin. God bless you. Shout out. I really appreciate y'all for supporting me with the boys, Elite Boys Summer Program. I'm gonna put the link is in the description. We really need your support and what we doing for these young men. We're building, and gonna continue to build. And let me see here. I'm trying to pull it up. Oh my goodness. Somebody doggone sending me an email and pop the balloon to my foundation. Don't do that. That's mean. God bless you. Your supporters payment is past due. Your supporters payment is past due. Y'all, that's why I told you, dog, don't sign up for the monthly and make this a bill. A one-time donation is fine. Just when you can, don't do the monthly. God bless your heart. There was like you can contact your supporter to help them update their payment method. It's like I don't want to be chasing nobody. This not no bill. I'm not a bill collector. Not a bill collector now. Sigourney, God bless you. Tiffany, Jasmine, Taquasha, Terrielle, Kathy. God bless y'all. Pamela, your payment, supporter payment past due. So it's a few people. Why y'all did that? Pamela, God bless you. Oh, Tiffany on there showing out now. Amina, God bless you. Oh, okay. Somebody did write in and say they card was compromised. Okay, so I guess I will send out the email just in case people card really did. Portia, Ashley, Sarah, God bless you all. God bless you. Hey, I appreciate you. We building. We got a big summer, and it's gonna cost me $250,000, and I am raising funds. I got a meeting with the city next week. Y'all, for the prayer warriors, I'm gonna put it out there. No, because it might be witches and warlocks. We rebuke y'all witches and warlocks in the name of Jesus. But just be praying for me for favor. I feel like the city will want to partner with me because sometimes the city have land. They have abandoned buildings that I could refurbish. I could raise funds. You know, they may have corporate sponsorships, different companies, different things like that. And I may get me a little office, you know, in the city where I'm from, and do some little headquarters there, start to build up, do my learning center there, start from there, right from home, and just build on up. So y'all pray for that because eventually I want to put learning centers in every city in my county that I grew up in, and then eventually branch out to the county that I live in now, which is next door nearby, and just keep planting those learning centers. And so that's what my foundation will be doing. In addition to the sports leagues and things like that, and teaching through sport and the values that come with that. Then we have the boys summer program, and then the boys will get continued support all year round with tutors and mentors and trips and exposure and things of that nature. And then when the Lord tells me that it's time, or maybe when Tayden is out of school and Cherie has more time and she wants to do something for the girls, and she build out the girls side of the program. But I'm not going to work with girls because some women, they'll tell me, oh, work with girls. But girls have, I found that when I was a substitute teacher, there would be little girls that would be sexually attracted to me because they had been violated. They had been exposed to that side of the world. And I don't like that. And I don't like that. It's not that I don't trust myself. I know myself, but I don't even want to have a little girl who is like triggering her trauma because that part of her life was turned on, and she was made to believe it's normal. And so now she wants a better version of that normal. And if I, to her, look better than the man who violated her, then she goes into this very awkward, weird space. And it's a very dangerous space because I'm not going to say most men, but a lot of men, they will take her up on that. It's a lot of men that I know personally that have sex with little girls and with teenage girls, school teachers, basketball coaches, principals, police officers. And so I don't want to introduce like a girls program. Like we'll have a basketball team, but not like before, but the real intense hands-on, because I'll be honest with you. I say I'll take a man life, but I wouldn't. But I will I will pursue punishment to the furthest extent of the law. And then if the law doesn't do justice, then I don't know what I'll be capable of. And I don't want to be tempted like Moses was when he took that man's life for beating on his countrymen. I don't want to be put in that position. So the Lord has shown me my boundaries, my limitations at this level of my life, of the level of emotional intelligence that I'm at right now at 40. The Lord has shown me. And so we're going to stick with that. But hey, God bless you. And we're going to be in touch with you. And thank y'all so much for your support. Bless Tribe, Patreon. God bless you. God bless you. I thank you. And you know what? For the Patreon, what I'm thinking about doing, I just got to convince my wife. Me and my wife, if we do a podcast, instead of it being for the World Wide Web, it's for our Patreon supporters. For those people that's, going that extra mile. And either I'm going to do that. If she don't want to do it, then I may do a husband's podcast where it's just me and a few husbands, or I'm interviewing different husbands where we talking about what a man thinks and feels and needs to help prepare women for the shock of living with a man. And for all the like single women, and then also for the single men to understand what it takes to be a husband. And so I know a husband here, a few different husbands who they're not public figures though. So it'll be interesting for me to get them on there. But yeah, so we'll see. But now I do have a influencer guy, one of my mentees that's in LA, and he and I talked about it. But he young, he younger than me, and so, and he's in LA, so the mindset may be polar opposite, which could be good. You never know. But I'm gonna be thinking of some content for Patreon because y'all just over there supporting. Just support us. And I get to pop in every now and then. And the Patreon will be where, when you have to be very, very direct, when you gotta really talk about something and break something down and like just really send a warning shot that the general public won't understand. I'll put that over there to the highest level of Patreon so that they can vouch and testify when things blow up and it goes wrong. Those people in that level of Patreon will be able to get on YouTube and say, everybody was worshiping and praising this person, and Tony said he felt something in his spirit that was off, but he knew he couldn't say it publicly because he would be flogged and fleeced and hung, burned at the stakes. So he said it to us behind a paywall in a private group, and everything he said, it came to pass. So that way, people can't say, because the thing about it is, some of that stuff, when the Lord show it to you in the spiritual realm, it may take 20 years to come to pass. And so that whole 20 years, for those that God showed, we'll live a painful existence, being called a hater and jealous and call all out our name and disrespected and all of that, because God don't show everything to everybody. So, but it'll be and I'm not going to cast pearls to swine. And so that type of stuff I put on the Patreon at the highest level, because you got demons that'll come on there just to be nosy. And so, hey, God bless you. We'll talk soon. Got a call in 7 minutes. And this is another production. This call in 7 minutes is another production that I'm doing for the main channel. And then the other production I'm working on, that's going to be for a new channel. And I'll collaborate. And, so when I make that new channel, then I'll tell y'all every video, subscribe, so you'll see the dating show on that channel, if the Lord let it come to pass. But the other production that I'm working on, that'll be on this channel, most likely, unless the cast or whoever want to do it on a new channel for that one too, and then I just have multiple channels like her. Hey, God bless you. We'll talk soon.